everybody. Welcome back to the Lead with Love podcast with Dr. Q, where we talk about love, leadership, and real life lessons that I think actually matter. Episode 15. This episode, we're going to talk about trust before task. And if you're here right now, remember, it is no accident. You're exactly where you are supposed to be. So let's jump in. Okay, last week we talked about relationships before results. The idea that connection is not the soft side of leadership. No, it's the strategic side. And I hope that you left that episode and had at least one of those all about you, all about me, all about us conversations with someone on your team. Because this week we are going to kind of go another layer deeper. And this one for me is very, very personal. So I'm going to start out telling you about a principal that I coached once. Brilliant leader, strong, visionary, high expectations, big heart. Her staff respected her, but thing is, they didn't trust her. And the reason why? Because of her mood. Ugh. Listen, on good days, she was super warm, super open, collaborative. But on hard days, she was short, she was distant, she was reactive. The staff, they never really knew which version of her that they were going to get or which one was going to show up to the meeting. So they played it safe. They stopped bringing her problems because they didn't want the mean her. They stopped sharing new ideas. They stopped telling her the truth because they had learned that you never know how she's going to respond. So why are we taking the risk? I know this because they told me this. And she had the relationship with them, but she had not really built their trust. And without trust, the relationship will only take you so far. According to research, the Google's Project Aristotle, one of the most comprehensive studies ever done on what makes a team successful, the number one factor in high performing teams was not talent. It was not resources. It wasn't even a great leader. It was the psychological safety, the shared belief that it is safe to speak up, take risk, and tell the truth without fear of punishment or humiliation. And psychological safety starts and ends with trust in leadership, Maslow's hierarchy of needs, physical safety, psychological safety, and then belonging. So today, love and belonging. So today, what we're going to talk about, trust before task, and why safety has to come before productivity. Okay. And by the end of this episode, I believe that you're going to have a better understanding of exactly why trust is the prerequisite to everything else that you are trying to build: performance, innovation, retention, and culture. And you're going to hear what destroys trust faster than almost anything else. And you're going to walk away with practical ways to become the kind of leader that your people feel safe around. Not just some days, no, every day. Back in the day, we say every day, but pay me no mind. This week, 2 of Undo Your Tie, we're going to do a deep dive and we are going deep. All right. So let me start with a question that may be a little uncomfortable. Why? Because I like to disrupt things. I like to disrupt you as a leader. So question is, do you feel you lead safely? Do you feel that people feel safe around you? Not safe from discipline, not safe from accountability. I mean, psychologically safe. Do they believe that they can come to you with a problem without being made to feel stupid? Do they believe that they can tell you something that is not working without it being used against them? Do you think that they believe that they can fail and learn from it without it defining how you see them from that point forward? Oh, Those are heavy questions because here's what the research says. According to BCG's 2024 study on psychological safety, teams with high psychological safety see 76% more engagement and have 27% lower turnover risk. And according to the American Psychological Association 2024 Work in America survey, 89% of all employees say that psychological safety is essential to their work experience. And yet, only 50% say that their manager actually creates it. Oh, ouch. 50%. That means that half of the leaders out there, maybe some of us, are not creating the safety that our people need to do their best. And we may not even know it. In my book, I try to write about trust as kind of the foundation and cornerstone of every single relationship. Not a nice extra to have, not something that you get to when you have time. No, the foundation. Because when trust exists between leaders and their teams, everything changes. People will become willing to take risks. They embrace innovation. They tell you the truth before it becomes a crisis. That is what we need. So we're not having to react to crisis the way we do. And when trust is absent, they protect themselves. They say what you want to hear. They do the very minimum required. They leave either physically or mentally long before you even know something's wrong. I've been there before. I don't know about you. I'm being honest. And it'll hit you like a ton of bricks. So let's talk about what destroys trust. Let me name a few things that are really more common than we want to admit. The first thing that destroys trust is inconsistency. This is one that got my coaching client. When your behavior is unpredictable, when your team can't anticipate how you will respond, they stop taking risk. They stop being honest. And they start to manage. They start managing you instead of really working with you. Consistency and predictability are not boring leadership qualities. They are trust building tools. And when people can depend on you to follow through on what you say, when your reactions are measured rather than explosive, when your systems and structures stay stable, trust begins to build. Now, that's from chapter 2. Lead with love. And I stand by every single word of it. Saying one thing and doing another, If you tell your team that their voice matters and then you make every decision without consulting them, yeah, their voice doesn't matter. And they notice it. If you say that your door is always open and then you make people feel like a burden when they come and walk through it, guess what? They notice. They're not coming back. If you preach accountability and you never hold yourself to the same standards, oh, they definitely notice that. Integrity is not just a character quality. It is a trust mechanism. And punishing honesty, yeah, this one is it's subtle and it's devastating. This is another thing that destroys trust. When someone comes to you with a problem and you respond with blame, frustration, or dismissal, yeah, you've just taught everybody in that building that honesty is not safe here and that you will not hear the truth again for a long time. They're going to stop telling you the truth, and you don't want that. Now, here's what I think builds trust. A survey story from my book says it very clearly. One of the participants said, "My first principal led with trust. A parent complained about me, and my principal, he shut that parent down by explaining where I was coming from. And this was all before he even spoke to me. Then he came to me to share the parent's concern and then gave me the opportunity to explain myself because he knew and trusted how I worked because I had shown him every day the impact. This made me more dedicated, more confident, and more invested in the success of the school, not just my class. Woo! Let me tell you, that principal built trust by defending his teacher before gathering all the facts, not because he was careless, right? Because that's not what we do as leaders, but because his relationship and the track record with that teacher gave him the confidence to believe in her first. That is what trust is in action. And that's what that looks like. Taking a risk on your people. Hard punch. Listen, your team is not giving you their best because they are talented and motivated. They are giving you their best because they feel safe enough to try. Take away the safety, and guess what? You will just get compliance at best and quiet quitting at worst. And this generation, they quiet quit all the time. They're not having it. I think it's I actually think it's kind of cool. They advocate for themselves. But let me give you 3 practical ways, you all, that you can build trust starting this week. 1, become predictable on purpose. I want you to take an honest look at your reactions. When things go wrong in your organization, what do people experience from you? Is it measured and focused on solution, or is it emotional? Y'all, emotion and ego is the death of leadership. Is it emotional and unpredictable? Your team is watching your worst moments more closely than your best moments. You get that? Your worst better than your best. So decide what kind of leader you're going to be when things are hard, and then be that person consistently. Number 2, follow through on the small things. Trust is not built in big dramatic moments. No, it's built in those very, very small everyday things. Did you say that you were going to get back to somebody by Friday? Then I need you to get back to them by Friday. Did you tell your team the schedule would stay the same? Keep the schedule the same. Did you commit to reading that survey data and sharing the results? What I'm going to say? Absolutely. Read it and share it. Small, consistent follow through. It is going to send an unmistakable message to everybody that I mean what I say and I say what I mean. And when people believe that their leader, and when they believe in their leader, they are going to follow that leader anywhere they go. And that is what we need. Number 3, own your mistakes out loud. In my book, I write about one of the most trust building things that a leader can do. Apologize. Not privately in a corner hoping that nobody notices. Nope. Publicly. Get the mic in front of people who were affected. I got that wrong. Here's what I'm going to do differently. Every time you do that, you are telling your team, you are telling your staff, you are telling the world that mistakes are survivable here. And if mistakes are survivable for me, the leader, then they are survivable for you too. And that Lead with Love audience is the foundation of learning, of a learning culture. And a learning culture is what drives lasting results. So before I let you go, Lead with Love, 8 Heart-Centered Strategies for Exceptional Leadership is available on Amazon. Get your copy today. Get your copy today. And chapter 2, that is what we're dealing with these next few weeks, is where we are living. We're living in chapter 2. Everything that we are covering in Q2 lives in that chapter, and it goes deeper than we can in a 10-minute episode. Okay? If this series is moving you, the book is going to transform you. Get your book. So next week, we're going to stay in the U, undo your tie. But we are shifting from trust to support. Support before systems. Because even the best systems in the world fail if the people inside of them don't feel supported. And I have a confession to make about my own leadership. I'm going to tell it to y'all. That is going to make you feel a lot better about yours, because we're not perfect. We are all trying to get better. So you do not want to miss the next episode. Okay. So that principal that I told you all about at the top of the episode, she made a change. I was really proud of her. She started kind of working on her consistency. She said what she means. She meant what she said. She started naming her hard days out loud, not to make excuses, but to be human. She started following through on the small things, and over time, something shifted. Her team started talking to her again. They started bringing her real stuff and not just the polished versions, the real versions. And her school got better. Not because she got a new strategy. No, but because her people finally felt safe enough to give her everything that they had. They felt safe to be human because she was human. And that's what trust does. It unlocks performance. And that was always there. It was always there, just kind of waiting for safety to show up so that it could show up. Build the trust that before that you assign them the task, okay? Because the task will never get done the way that you need it without the trust underneath it. You need to know what's really happening, okay? So, as always, thank you all for joining me on the Lead with Love podcast. If today's message spoke to you, please, y'all, share it with a leader who you know who may be wondering why their team isn't performing. Because the answer might just be trust, not talent. So, yeah, don't forget to subscribe so that you all don't miss episode 16 next week. Support before systems. And remember, leading with love isn't a one-time decision. It isn't a one-time decision. It is a daily choice that we get to make. So until next time, be well and lead with love.